Man. Now what do I do? Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LOTRO stream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/LOTRO. I am LOTRO's community manager, Cordovan, and we have downtime. Downtime we have. However, we're making progress. Odds are fairly decent that we will be up during the stream here sometime. I'm going to be on Landreval. I'm also keeping an eye on our internal sort of chat going on for today's downtime effort. Alright, looks like I need to kind of hang off. So I can actually load up the game client here in my office because I'm special. But that's actually, they're actually taking the world down again here quick so that they can reboot the master server. So I'm just going to be hanging out with you on this window for a little while until it's safe enough for me to log into the game client, and then I can putz around a little bit. Hopefully, like I said, technically our downtime, we've given us until 2 p.m., but I think we're going to be up fairly soon. Potentially even, you know, during the stream here. So we'll kind of have to see how it goes. But yeah, they exactly right. They're actually in the middle of kind of Q&A work right now. So that's what's going on there. Great, Charles, about the Extra Life goodies. I guess I could mention that I am taking donations for Extra Life, and it's extralife.org/participant. Or no, what is that? Let me get my URL. Anyway, yeah, we're taking money for Extra Life through the end of November. Plenty of time to get your incentives in. We're going to be doing the drawings for all that sort of thing, like kind of giveaways and things like that, in early December. Probably, so right now on the DDO side, December 5th is currently our release date, so I'm going to be a little busy those first couple of days in December. Probably won't be able to carve out the time to do the drawings and get everyone their prizes, so it'll probably have to be a little bit after that. But certainly by, let's just say, mid-December, everything should be taken care of there. As of last night, I stayed up, I was at work till about 9:30 last night. After work hours, I went through all the private messages that people had sent me for Extra Life donations and things like that, so I'm all pretty much caught up on that sort of thing. So if you donated to me and got in touch with me to follow up on like incentives like the Hero the Small Folk codes, Spirit Bears, things like that, I should have replied to you. So check your PM inbox on the LOTRO forums and get in touch with me if you run into any issues. It looks like this morning I do have another dozen or so replies, because in some cases I had to be like, yo, what title do you want? What do you want your avatar to be? So there we go. But that's cool, and I really want to thank everyone again for doing that. It looks like the overall rank for me is 135. We did hit the $3,000 goal. So far, we've raised 3,425 on my page, and 8,684 for overall Team LOTRO stream. Our overall team rank is 87. I also would let you know that I got a ping from the Boston Children's Hospital saying that thanks to the Team LOTRO stream efforts, we are the largest donor to the Boston Children's Hospital for Extra Life. And so that's a really nice thing there. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna guess we're gonna be up. Oh, let's see if I'm right. I'm gonna say 12:30ish. Maybe even a little bit before. We'll kind of have to see how it goes here in terms of the uptime on the downtime. But QA's in the middle of doing their thing right now, so I'm just kind of leaving the server clear for them to do the work they need to do so that we can get the worlds open. Why was today's downtime so long? We're doing some database maintenance. And they're doing some TSI work, if that means anything to you. They're bouncing the BW. Uh-huh. Let's see. They had to pause monitoring, site down GLS, do database maintenance, deploy TSI, finish database maintenance, re-enable a monitoring, then the white glove the database and TSI maintenance. So that's what's going on. I think it has something to do with Balrogs. No, I have no idea. But yeah, it's sort of behind the scenes work that they had to do. One of those kind of unfortunate things that come up every now and then where it's like, yeah, it's going to take some time. So that's what's up. Will you show us the bosses from the new raid as it was with Throne? I sort of have gone spoiler free, but I suppose if there's an interest in it, I could, because when that stuff gets to Bull Roar, I could show it off in the live stream if people really want to see it. But I kind of operate under the assumption that a lot of people who check out these weekly streams don't really want to have everything spoiled for them. But I could. Do I go over all the chats from the stream later and gather all questions for review in case you missed them? Not usually, but I have. A lot of times what I'll do when I see a question that I know I need to follow up on, or a concern I know I need to follow up on, you don't see my hands all the time, but I'll just quick copy and paste that into a notepad. And then at the end of the show, I'll be like, okay, I need to check into this, and this, and this. We do a lot of streaming, so I don't really have time to watch the full streams that I do, but I do sometimes. Every now and then I will. What about Bull Roar on this weekend? I believe the answer is yes. I'm pretty sure Tiber's planning to have an updated version of the raid this time. Last weekend we just weren't really ready to show off a whole lot new on the raid, so it ended up being kind of some PvMP changes, things like that. But I think this weekend's going to be an update on the raid. So. And yes, we are actually going to be working on Nairband. Not just T2C, but in general, we're going to be making Nairband quite a bit easier in the relatively near future. I don't know if it's going to be in 21.3, but it might be. But I put together a list of bullet points and sent it to the instance maker. Say, yo, this is what we need to do on this one, based on your feedback. I mean, I do think T2C is still going to be difficult. I mean, that is sort of the intention. of that particular difficulty, but it'll be easier. Yeah, this downtime's not great. It's no fun to have a full morning kind of through early afternoon, but every now and then we got to do this kind of tech work. How's Movember going? Movember's going pretty well. On In case that's what with the facial hair and stuff, I shave every November and grow a pretty pathetic mustache to raise money for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, suicide prevention, and mental health for a bunch of mostly men-related charities. Not entirely, but you know, Movember tends to focus on the dudes in the same way that kind of Breast Cancer Awareness Month focuses on the ladies, even though guys can also get breast cancer and women can get prostate cancer, I think, or colorectal cancer. Yep. Yeah. So far I'm at I'm at the heavenly total of 777. On Movember. I do that on the DDO side. I do Extra Life on the LOTRO side, so I'm a little hesitant to promote Movember too much on the LOTRO side here because everyone there is so generous with Extra Life. I don't want to re-ask them for more money. But that's what's going on the DDO side, and that's why I grow the pretty pathetic little mustache there. Yes, you're correct. Colorectal cancer is what I mean. But if you play DDO, similar to LOTRO, I do give out some like incentives and loot items and things like that for donations. So if you're interested, check that out. Most of the issues we've noticed are around boss fight resets and mobs not respawning after we wipe. Because of those issues, we have to either reset the instance completely or walk away and try it another day. Understood. Yep. Yep. That's what we're going to be working on, among other things. Speaking of PvMP, the added finesse scroll for creeps, 854 finesse rating. Do you think that's a reasonable amount for 85 LOTRO points for level 115 character? Sounds like you're saying no. I'll take your word for it. Any news on the silver gold signets being account bound versus character bound? No. Sorry. Sure understood, Helga Marie. I'm just killing time here today while we wait for the downtime to wrap up. The next donation is to use Cordovan's admin account for a day. Oh, God. Do I know how I can repair the 201 error in the game? So typically, I mean, there's a bunch of causes for it. Let's see if I can just do a quick Google search to make sure I'm correct on this. Usually what's causing that is that you're having trouble opening the data files. So that generally means that your hard drive is full, that you don't have proper read-write permissions at the installation path, or that you have a corrupt install. So, what is it can't find the DAT files. So, there is a workaround here, and I'm actually going to link to that in YouTube chat for you, if I can find it. Oh, actually, it's not going to let me. because it's YouTube. Anyway, there's a help.standingstonegames.com does have an article on the 201 error. Basically, what it is, go to your installation folder. It's probably in the program files x86. Check your user account control stuff, Windows UAC. Make sure you have admin privileges. You can try right-clicking, running the client as an administrator. And frankly, you can actually install it outside of the program files x86. That might help too. But yeah, there's a big article on help.standingstonegames.com that'll probably solve your 201 error issue. Yes. Here in, we have MooBot set to not do links, but thank you. I will post that link there, here and on your behalf. This is for the 201 error there. Since next year is at the corner, can you just let us know if next year we are going to see new things coming to LOTRO pools? Yes. We are. As a matter of fact, hey, one of the things I know I get asked quite a bit about is the producer's letter. Sev and I actually did a whole bunch of work on that last night before I sat down and did the Extra Life stuff. So we have got a first draft in the can, and it's been sent out to a small group on the LOTRO team to fact check, make sure that we're committing to the things we're actually going to be able to commit to, and then kind of wordsmith it and figure out what we can add and what maybe we need to not commit ourselves to yet, things like that. But yes, that is there. It's making progress. Hopefully end of next week we can get it out, maybe. Is Bullroarer this weekend going to have raid bosses with mechanics? I don't know. Sorry, Els. Tiber would know that. It really just depends on what Thursday night's build looks like. Tonight's build looks like. Do I know if crafted guild relics will be updated with new recipes someday? Those are stuck since level 100, while the 3 other spots have huge stats since Mordor. I know that we are going to be seeing some new Kinhall items, but I don't know if that's guild crafting or another kind of crafting. Yeah, MooBot. It's sort of what it takes care of like spam from Twitch chat, helps us deal with moderation, helps archive chat, things like that. Well, Ashigaru, let me actually go and see if I can answer your question a little bit better regarding what I just said. If I can log in from here, we'll see. All right, LOTRO Studio. Update 21.1 to 21.3. .3 housing items. Okay, it looks like the new housing items are going to be available through one of 3 different ways. Some will be in the new raid. Some will be in-game through the quartermaster. And a couple of them are going to be set aside for our Gorgoroth loot boxes. But most of the stuff's going to be raid or through the quartermaster. And I don't want to spoil it. But it's looking pretty good. And that'll be coming out, that's set for 21.3. So I guess that's not crafting then. Sorry. Alright, and I'm not seeing anything else about guild crafting either. Oh, you had a question about LI relics? I know that there is some tentative plans to take another look at the LI system, potentially. I mean, internally we're hoping to get it done next year, but I don't know that we're actually ready to commit to that yet. Because things might come up that derail it, or other things could become prioritized. But I have a feeling we're going to see some LI work next year. When will the servers be open again? Hopefully soon. Sorry, Metana, no news on the Metalsmith shield recipes. I did pass that along to QA, though. Do I have any news to share regarding the Ash currency cap that was seen on Bulroar? Is an Ash currency cap planned for live? Good question. And yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. So this came about because one of the things that happened post-Mordor, which I guess we probably should have been, more aware of, but maybe made a mistake there, is that some folks have been doing lots of landscape farming for items that they could barter for Ash of Gorgoroth. And unfortunately, well, there's really a couple of things. One, it was not our intention to offer ashable items from landscape drops because of that exact reason of being able to farm them, but we did. And then two, we should have put a cap in place on the Ash of Gorgoroth when we debuted the system, but it fell by the wayside in sort of the effort to get Mordor out in time. So at this point, we're in a position where we want to support the Ash of Gorgoroth long term, but there are enough people with so much ash that we could never, say, satisfy the demand for spending on it. So, for example, even if we put out an item that cost 50,000 ash, there's going to be enough people who day one would just be like, yeah, whatever, psh, now I got the thing, that it's difficult for us to support the system long term. But we want to support the system long term. So we were testing on Bulroar a system that is like, well, would it work? Would it version? Whatever. We're not committing to actually putting a cap in place. But it looks like we might. But it certainly will not be as low as it was on Bulroar. That was absolutely a mistake. Because we set it lower than even the cost of some of the items that you could get there. Because what the higher tier stuff is like $27.50, and we had a cap of 2,000 on Bulroar. So it's going to be some super high cap. I don't know what it's going to be, maybe 20,000 or something like that. So for most people, it's going to be kind of a non-issue. And if you are above that level because you maybe bot farmed, stuff out and the landscape or whatever for a long time, you're still going to keep all the ash you got. You're just not going to be able to get any more until you get below that cap. But honestly, if you're at that cap anyway, you could buy every single item from vendor right now and still have ash left over. So that's sort of the intention. And then longer term, whenever we do another kind of ash system like this in the future, we're going to have to be more considerate of sort of farming techniques and that sort of thing. And I could see sort of from a player perspective, it's like, well, I want to spend the next month grinding my face off for ash so that I never have to worry about it again. But the problem on the design and development side is it's hard to incentivize spending the development resources to make new items for a system when no one is ever going to have to earn through gameplay the materials to do that additional stuff. If, day one, as soon as, like, there's an unquenchable amount of currency out there that you just, no matter what you debut, people just go click, 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 and it's immediately purchased, then you kind of have a hard time justifying the development of it. And the other consideration is it tends to cause, for an economy, inflation of the Ash of Gorgoroth price. Because, a lot of that stuff in Ash of Gorgoroth is, what, a couple hundred Ash? But if we run a query on the server and the average amount of Ash that people have is, and this isn't true, but let's just say if we ran it and theoretically everyone had 50,000 Ash, well, then you're not going to price things at 400 Ash or whatever. You're going to have to price it at 4,000 or even higher than that. So a lot of it's on us, frankly, on the Ash Gorgoroth. But long and short of it, here's the takeaway. We were testing it to try to correct issues that largely we caused by allowing Ash of Gorgoroth farming on the landscape. 2, we are considering putting a cap on the Ash of Gorgoroth, but 3, that cap is going to be so high that it's really not an issue for basically everybody. Unless you're one of those super farmer outliers, in which case 4, you're still going to keep your stuff, you're just not going to be able to get new ash until you spend it down. So that's the long and short of it. And yes, you're absolutely right, Gel5. He says, you got to be careful about running those kind of numbers queries because those tend to be outliers, farmers and bots and things like that, and may not be representative of the, quote, average player. And yes, that is absolutely part of the query. We do, what is the least amount on the server? What is the average on the server? What is the weighted average on the server? What is the maximum on the server? When we do these kind of queries. So we can actually even go down to an account level. How many accounts have 10,000? How many have 1,000? How many have 100? And we can get all that kind of information and kind of use that to sort of figure out where we want to be there. It's a little bit, you are right, it's a little similar to what the issues are with commendations and Audacity gear. Should we expect changes to Creepside next update? Potentially. Vastin has been doing work on PvMP that you saw last weekend on Bullroar, and depending on how long it takes to settle that work, it'll be in either 21.3 or theoretically if we did a 21.4 or update 22. It'll be in one of those, but it's too early to say whether specifically it'll be in 21.3. It's possible, but it's also possible it'll take a little longer than that. Sorry to the person who wrote in Cyrillic. I don't read Russian. I'm sorry. I have no idea what you're asking me. Sorry, Roy-Con. It sounds like there's an effort to get those gold or silver signets bound to account. I have not heard any plans to do that. Sorry. Red Cloud, the only thing about the ash is the harder you make it to acquire, the less time I spend on other aspects of the game. Yeah, it's a fine balancing act. But at its core, it was a mistake. A design mistake to allow for farming of ashable equipment on a landscape. We should not have done that. And I don't think we actually intended to do that. And then when we realized it was possible, it's like, oops. So there we go. When Mordor will be available to buy it on the LOTRO store? Soon. We'll let you know when it's ready. Are the Hobbits going to have their appearance updated eventually? Yes. The art team is a little busy right now putting the final touches on our expansion for the other game. You know, it's a shared resource. But they are going to be working on Hobbits after that. So yes, 2018 we should probably see Hobbits. My client failed to connect because of the maintenance? Yes. Mirenzo1, can you answer me what will be done with the amount of ash people received from an exploit bug? I've heard from some people that they have over 10,000 ash. As a matter of fact, some of those exploiters have way, way more than that. It depends. There may be a few outliers that clearly we need to take administrative action against because they were clearly cheating. But as a general system-wide thing, if theoretically you're over whatever cap ends up being in place, which, like I say, it's going to be super-duper high, you'll still have your ash. You just won't be able to acquire more until you spend it down. Will ashable items be removed as landscape drops? Probably. And yes, Limonez dwarves as well. Can I give us a large estimate on Update 22 release? Are we looking at 2017 or for sure are we into 2018? We are into 2018. First part of 2018 on Update 22. So what was the intended primary method for obtaining ash? Well, it was meant as really a safety net system rather than a primary acquisition system. And it would be from running the instances, running the content, you know, like the quests, that sort of thing, finding ashable gear, and then so that no matter what, even if you didn't get your instance loot or raid loot or whatever, you know, was there, you would at least be able to make incremental progress toward just purchasing that sort of thing. But it was intended to be a safety net rather than a primary acquisition system. I'm trying to figure out what question to answer next. Let's see where we are. Alright, estimating about 15 more minutes or so before we open the worlds. So we should be up. I was a liar, but yet we'll be up around the end of the show here today. So probably before 1 o'clock Eastern. Any chance of crafting with ingredients stored in your vault without having to go to a vault and withdraw them to your inventory bags? I have not heard of any plans to do that, but I will say that tech exists on the DDO side. So depending on how the underlying tech is for LOTRO, and I assume it's more advanced. It's theoretically possible that we could do that in the future. Then why not move the best quality gear from the Ash Barter to the Allegiance Barter? The best quality gear is not intended to be from the Ash Barter. Although, actually, I think some of the raid stuff might be available, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway, you should be able to get all the stuff that you can get for Ash, by running the content as well. And the intention of Ash is that's kind of a safety net for if you don't get that stuff. Any info about 21.3 release date? No, it's a little too early yet, but it will be before the end of the year is our intention. Will we get class balance before or with update 21.3? No. Can we get married in LOTRO? Sorry, I'm not interested in being married. No, yeah, kinda, yeah. Ages ago, there was a rumor we'd have to have full rep with all 4 Alliance factions to be able to access the raid. Can I confirm this is not true? I can confirm this is not true. Will raid testing continue this weekend on Bull Roar? I think so. I believe that's the plan. Half the classes can't run the raid. False. Sorry. I appreciate your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. Let's see. Stay tuned, Gashapal. The producer's letter that's incoming, we should have more information about what's going to be coming content-wise in 2018. When will we see dwarf women in the game? My understanding is theoretically you could have dwarf women in the game now, but I understand that's a big old can of worms. I think I partially opened up that can last weekend by saying I ain't opposed to it. I think it's kind of a cool idea, but apparently it's a complicated topic. Do we want to balance the Bjorning in the near future? I don't know. I mean, near future is a difficult thing to answer because if I would say yes, we'd be theoretically committing to something pretty early. But I will say that yes, Bjorning is on our radar. That we know we need to do some work on the Bjorning. I've heard Hunter is getting nerfed. That's news to me. I haven't heard of any plans to nerf Hunter. Any plan in the near future to add first age 100 level to the skirmish camp legendary gear? I don't think so. I haven't heard of any plans to do that. Any plan to change the incentives for the Dungeons of Narraband instance? We're definitely going to be doing some rebalancing on Dungeons of Narraband. When will Bull be available next? Probably Friday night. Whereas Bakata, I haven't seen him since September. He should still be around. Will we get new LOTRO DLC like that Dawn pack you guys did a long time ago? I haven't really... I don't know. I don't know. We need to nerf Hunter Blue Line. Okay. Mobility and highest DPS is kind of silly. Makes sense. But again, I haven't heard of any plans to do that. Alright. I have not heard of any plans to expand mounted combat levels. Leave the hunter alone! Yeah, I haven't heard of any plans to do any of that sort of thing. Yeah. Let me actually call up, if I can find my email. Here we go. Dungeons of Narraband feedback. Alright, so here's the main points about the Dungeons of Narraband that we've identified as issues that we need to work on. The boss continues to reset too frequently, particularly when being kited. Shadow of Mordor appears too randomly without any adequate tells. The final boss, Thraknul, does too much damage to be properly tanked even after the changes, and the Chain of Malice frequently one-shot kills both tanks and healers. People are ported into the cage multiple times randomly, although that may be working as intended. I sent it to the developer just to check. Bleeds against players are too high and stack too often. Trash mob respawning is perhaps on the annoying side and should either be reduced or eliminated. And then the last boss sometimes does not reactivate properly when he resets through kiting, stays green. Additionally, we have a resetting issue with the Court of Saragost that we need to look at as well. Meeting 101, I don't think the intention would be to nerf hunters and burglars in the moors so that they aren't one-shotting creeps. I think rather the intention is to increase the power level of creeps. Because typically anything we do to the freeps has an impact both in PvMP and outside of PvMP, with the exception of, Audacity gear. So I think the intention would be to raise up creeps rather than nerf the freeps. I have not heard of any plans for player housing in Lorien. When do the servers come up again? We're on track to open the servers pretty soon. Maybe around another 10 minutes or so. We'll see. We're technically set to go through till 2 p.m., but I think we're last word I've seen is that an estimate of about 15 more minutes for the Q&A checks. And then we'll reopen things. Will we ever do a progress server like EQ2? I mean, never say never, but I don't really see us committing the development resources to do a classic server. I know, Blizzard just announced that at BlizzCon or whatever, but I think the reality is a lot of people tend to think of these progression servers as using old code, rolling back the game, when it actually tends to be developing a secondary version of the game that mimics the older systems. I just don't see us devoting the time to that for LOTRO, but who knows? Tenamera, it's fun to research the mechanics of Narrowband T2C, but people are asking themselves if it's even possible without pet tanking. Can you tell it, or is it a secret? Not a secret. I do believe we at least have a few people doing it without pet tanking, but you're right that we're going to be needing to work on scaling back the overall challenge on all difficulties, including T2C, but we do intend, of course, T2C to be the toughest challenge. Yeah, a lot of interest in class balance, but it definitely is not happening in time for 21.3. Hey, Gussie. What are the criteria for getting your items and coins back if you misclicked for X ash for a necklace? Don't misclick. Otherwise, I guess you could see if customer service is feeling generous, but, to some extent, you clicked on the thing, so don't click on it if you don't want it. Any plans for the team to put more cosmetic armor and or clothing into the store or Lelia's market? A lot of that resource time is going into festival items, but theoretically, I mean, it's certainly possible that we'll have additional cosmetics in the store or Lelia's market in the future. But right now, when we do the work to do a bunch of new cosmetics, they've been fitting into festivals, so we'll probably be doing that for at least a little while here. Rewind, I'm not sure about a specific skill that maybe is going on to cooldown without going off. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for you. Man, I would love that. And unfortunately, I don't see your name over on YouTube. Dot. Would it ever be possible to get an invisible shield cosmetic so we could keep the effectiveness but have the appearance of only using a one-handed weapon? Man, I would be down for that. I would love that on Dwinstrel. Will the past festival mounts be added to pick-a-mount boxes? Good question, probably. Any plan to do more episodic content for festivals like the one introduced through Bingo at Fall Fest? Maybe. That was a bit of an extracurricular activity on the part of Chris Pearson, so I don't know that we can sustain that a lot. But I think where there might be interest to do it, potentially. But I think we have some other intentions for our festivals that I can't really talk about yet. I have not heard of plans to create additional housing outside of Belphalis. Any information about class balance, maybe even before the raid? No. We will not be having an extensive classwork done before 21.3. Any chance of getting a baby warg as a cosmetic pet? Funny. Maybe. Looks like you guys are... Here we go. Yep. As of about 30 seconds ago, worlds are now open to players. Oh, sorry, you're right, AJ Bookworm. Druid's Fire. I misattributed the Bingo Boffin quest. That was indeed made of lions. Hope Nairband changes coming before 21.3. So 21.3 is next. So any changes that would be done for Nairband would be for 21.3. It's a cool suggestion, Tellurian, to have a stable master at the gates of classic housing. Gel 5, the best way to get word to the development team on your preference for class balance is to use the LOTRO forums. Any word on when we get a moose mount? Definitely not a moose. Neotank, I mean, there was definitely some deliberate scaling back of the out-of-control benefits of self-healing as we went up to level 115. I appreciate that maybe you feel we went too far with that, but some of that was deliberate to not keep going along the exponential growth curve that was taking place. Thanks, Joel. Alright, so worlds are up. It's almost 1 o'clock. Doesn't make much sense for me to log in at this point. The game needs battle rams from dwarves. I like it. Yeah. Alright. Will anything be done about scaled tortoise freeps? Not sure about that one. Are we against people solo running old raids? No. Not in general. Sometimes the mechanics don't support that, but yeah, we typically don't care. If someone wants to run a raid as a solo for an accomplishment, we're usually cool with that. Rune Keepers are too powerful. Nerf Rune Keepers. Hunters are too powerful compared to Rune Keepers. Nerf Hunters. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. When is the next Explorer update? Should be this weekend. Sorry, LAP on YouTube. I cannot comment on anything related to Steam. Nerf Bjornings make them turn into cats. I like it. All right, I'm going to wrap it up then. Thank you very much for watching my ugly mug for an hour. Game Worlds are now live. I need to get the word out about that, so I'm going to wrap things up right now. Thank you for watching Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow us on Twitch to be notified when we go live with shows. You can find our full calendar over on a Google Doc that's available on the Twitch page. We also have a splash screen that lists all of our shows up to date. YouTube, if you subscribe to us, you'll get the videos in your subscription feed. And Facebook, like us both for these live videos and all the other stuff that we put over on Facebook. Glad we could get the Worlds Open an hour early. Have fun in game, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.